You are listening to the ADHD Support Talk Radio podcast. ADHD Support Talk Radio is sponsored by ADDclasses.com. Sign up now for a free webinar by going to www.addclasses.com. This is your co-host, Tara McGillicuddy, and yes, I am finally back with a new podcast episode, and I could give you reasons, explanations, or even excuses as to why it's been so long since I have uploaded a new episode, but I like to practice what I preach, and I'm just gonna focus right now on the positive part of me being back. So today what I'm gonna talk to you about is a simple, fun way to conquer procrastination, clutter, and maybe even perfectionism. And fun, when I first thought about doing this, I wasn't thinking about fun, but for a while, I've been doing them on and off for 3 years, but for the last 6 months, on a regular basis, I have been offering action groups. I've been doing on a regular basis 2-hour action groups, and more recently during the summer I've even added some full action days. And the reason I said fun is because one of the participants actually emailed me to thank me for it and called it a party. I don't know, that to me, not only did they get stuff done and had results, the fact that they thought it was fun and called it a party, I was really surprised and liked that. So why does it work? What is it? And when you're dealing with procrastination, clutter, and even perfectionism, there are things you can listen to. There are books about it. There are classes about it, programs about the best ways to do that. And for a lot of people, that works. Some people really benefit from learning how their brain works, which strategy is best. But my group action sessions, or group action days, or action parties, as some people call them, are a bit different. They're simply taking action. And that's one thing that sometimes we get so stuck in our heads and we can be too perfectionistic about things. And in all honesty, that's part of the reason I haven't uploaded my own podcast episode in a while, is I got stuck with that perfectionism. And what used to help me is interviewing another guest or doing an episode with Lynn. And there's just been different reasons why I haven't done that recently, but I think I forgot about, having somebody else alongside with me really minimizes my perfectionism and helps me to be able to stop procrastinating and take action. So what are these action sessions? The 2-hour action sessions I schedule 2 hours where people sign up and join me and take action on certain things. They come at the beginning of the session, they type in what they're going to do, they go work on it for a bit, and then they report back what their success was. And it really sounds very simple, almost like so simple it's not going to work, but the number of people that have said, I'm just going to try it, and then they email me and, oh my gosh, I'm shocked it worked. Like, I'm really surprised at how much I got done. And some people think, it's accountability, and not quite. It's a little bit different than accountability, but it's somewhat similar. Accountability would be like an example, for example, I offer these group action sessions. I schedule them, and depending on when I offer them, sometimes I'll have 50 people show up, sometimes there'll be hundreds of people who sign up and come. And the fact that I schedule them, I put it out there, and I know there's hundreds of people on the other end, that's holding me accountable. Because if I didn't show up and do what I said, I'm first of all going to disappoint a lot of people. I'm going to make myself look very unprofessional, and I'm going to have to answer countless emails about, oh my gosh, where are you? Blah, what happened? So that's accountability. But I'm not doing the same thing with the action group participants. there's not really consequences for people not showing up or not doing their work. Sometimes there might be some consequences that the participant might feel disappointed in themselves or something like that. So in that sense, there's consequences, like self-consequences. But for me, it's not about that. It's more about shifting the energy, first of all, because when you're by yourself and going round and round and not getting anything done and getting distracted by other things, when you have somebody else, you add some outside energy, an outside person, an additional person, a different person, whatever you want to call it, that shifts the energy, that helps you to focus on something else. And then also, I add some built-in structure where, all right, it's only during these 2 hours on a specific date, a specific time. So that's that structure. And then a couple of the techniques I use that are known to be very helpful for productivity is one, the body double concept, that just act alone of having somebody else there, whether it's in person, I do these virtually, helps you get more done. And then also I use the Pomodoro Method or Pomodoro Technique, where that's basically setting a timer for a certain amount of time, working on something and coming back and reporting not necessarily, if you're doing it on your own, you're not reporting your success, but if you're doing it on your own, the Pomodoro Technique is setting a timer for about 25 minutes, working for a bit, taking a break, come back, setting it for another round. So I combine those things that actually help people. And then just having other people there. I know I talked about the body double concept, but when you have multiple people there and they're all focusing on the same thing, which is taking action, it shifts the energy and you absorb or get into that action, that success, that productivity energy, instead of just like being in your own, oh my gosh, overwhelm energy, or what am I going to do, or disappointment energy, or whatever else it is. So that helps it. And then I have people type in specific words at specific times, specific phrases, which help them be more successful. The phrases or the wording I use when people say what they're going to do, those words help people be more successful. And then the fact that I only allow people to report their success or progress in the way they report it, that helps people be more successful. It registers in their brain. They become more aware of their success, and in turn, they're more successful in the future. So there's different reasons behind why they work, and it's success. It's something that people, instead of dreading doing something on their own, it's a place to go where people are going to get something done. And, even if it's like a tiny percentage or something, you're taking action, you're shifting the energy, you're focusing on your success. I know people have been offering similar types of groups for years, and some people have referred to them as procrastinators workshop or procrastination this, procrastinators. I specifically did not name the group procrastinators group, because when we focus on a word, the more energy we put into that word, the more we think about that word, the more we use that word, the more likely we're going to have those results. So if you talk about procrastination all the time, talk about procrastinators all the time, or not all the time, but a lot, you're more than likely going to have more procrastination. If you're using the term action or productivity or whatever similar type of word, you're going to have more action. You're going to have more productivity. You're going to have more success. And then, so I talked about the procrastination, and then clutter. It's not specifically a clutter workshop or a workshop to declutter or focus on clutter, but it just so happens that majority of the people who come to these action groups, the action sessions, work on their clutter. They declutter. They get a lot of clutter removed. In clutter, it's embarrassing for a lot of us. It holds us back. And I think this is where a virtual group, as opposed to an in-person group, might be more beneficial for a lot of people when it comes to clutter, because we can be embarrassed by it. And when you're in a safe place, like a virtual group like this, you can choose whether you want to turn your camera on or not. And you don't have to be embarrassed by the clutter. And then you're with a group of people that are all focusing on, okay, I'm clearing out my closet, clearing off my desk that has piles and piles. So it's like that acceptance that, gosh, I'm not alone, that can be helpful. And perfectionism. It's one thing that a lot of us with ADHD deal with. And some of us, we even realize that that's what it is. So instead of being like, okay, I need to spend the whole day finishing cleaning my entire apartment, that can be perfectionistic. That's perfectionistic. And when you finally realize, well, I can't do the entire house or entire room in the time I thought, it's like, okay, I'm just going to shut down and not do it. Not that you're really consciously thinking that, but that's a lot of times what happens. You get into all or nothing perfectionistic mode. When you do something like a group action session, where it's like you have 30 minutes to work, do as much as you can in 30 minutes or whatever you can at the pace that best suits you, you're focusing on, oh, I got a little bit done in 30 minutes, or I got a ton done in 30 minutes. So you're getting out of that perfectionistic mode because the space is there, the time is set, there's other people, and the fact that you're reading other people's success updates where they say, oh, wow, I got 10% of my desk cleared off. It's like, oh, that's great. That's, wow. I feel good that I got 10% done, as opposed to feeling bad about myself because I didn't get the whole thing done, and why even bother? So there are reasons, lots of different reasons why something like a group action session works, or a group action session day work. And I know there are other people who offer similar ones, and I've seen them called study halls, ADHD study halls. And I don't know, for me, I was very rarely productive in a study hall in high school or junior high. And I just remember sitting there, hearing the clock tick, or hearing the buzz from the fluorescent lights, and just the energy in there was just like so blah. For me, the word ADHD study hall, I do not connect with action, productivity, and success. And I have colleagues that call them that, and people sign up for them, and I think they get it done. So if you're somebody who has gone to an ADHD study hall and you've been successful with it, that's good for you. Be aware. That's something that I'm aware of. I probably would never attend an ADHD study hall because I have negative experiences with the wording. Like if somebody also, when people call things homework, I don't like it either. But getting back to the ADHD action groups, ADHD action days, or I don't know, maybe I might change it to a party. I was getting back to that. I was like, wow, somebody called this a party. And that, I thought that was great that somebody not only got a lot done, they were excited by it, and they referred to it and compared it to a party. The things is, I don't offer at the same time every week or the same time every month. And routines for some people can be very helpful, and for some things. I'm not saying routines are bad. Don't have a routine or a ritual or anything like that. They can be very helpful for certain things, like for brushing your teeth, for going to sleep at the same time every day, for exercising at the same time every day, or however often you exercise. Those can be great. But for certain tasks, certain projects, and dealing with things like clutter, it gets monotonous. When you're doing the same thing over and over again, the dopamine and other chemicals in your brain aren't flowing as well as they did when you first started doing them. So the novelty of me offering the action sessions at different times of the month, different times, or whatever maybe there's no rhyme or reason to when and why I offer them, that in itself adds some success. It makes people more successful because it shifts the energy. It changes your brain chemistry for the better. So for someone who wants a group action session or a group action day at the same time, same day of the month, you're not going to find that with me. And, part of it was because I had, things going on. I didn't know when I could schedule it. But part of it was novelty, micro change, changing things really can be beneficial. We need change. We need the right type of balance to certain things. Yeah, routines are great. Certain things doing the same time every day, have a routine or a ritual. Yes, we benefit from that. But there are specific things, certain things where doing something, changing it up, not knowing when the next time it's going to be, actually stimulates your brain and can benefit someone with ADHD. You can go to taramcgillicuddy.com and you can see my events when the next 2-hour group action session is scheduled, or the next full day action day is scheduled, or my other energy shifting events. And I'm also doing something different when it comes to pricing, or charging fees or not charging fees for the group action days and group action sessions. For the past 6 or so months, since all the craziness started going on with the pandemic, I started offering the group action sessions at no cost. Then, because I needed to pay for the software and running a business and all the bells and whistles associated with that, I gave people the option to make a donation for the 2-hour action sessions. And I was just so grateful with the number of people who have made donations. They've allowed me to keep offering them at no cost. And then I decided, let's try this full action day. I just knew I couldn't do those completely free because I've been offering resources for people with ADHD online for over 20 years. And I just knew that if I did a full day, a good portion of the people would sign up for free and not show up. And I'd get frustrated, I'd get annoyed, and I probably wouldn't offer another one again. So that was part of the reason why at first I charged a very small fee. Then I decided, let me shift, let me try something new with the full group action day, and it was a pay what you choose, which I've seen that before on and off over the years. People call it pay what you can, pay what you want. I specifically chose the word choose because that's a more empowering word than pay what you want, pay what you can, pay what you choose. And I was pleasantly surprised by the fee they chose to pay, the price they chose to pay. And that's something that's shifting, that's something new, something different, that not only me offering the program, stimulates, my brain and changes my brain chemistry for the better, but the fact that people signing up for it saw something new and different that I really haven't seen very many people doing. I saw somebody doing for something totally non-ADD related, but she gave 3 different options to choose to pay. This was like, pay what you choose. And I did have some people who chose not to pay anything. And if that would, and that's fine. I mean, if people really honestly couldn't pay for something because they had their financial situation is so bad or whatever, that makes sense. If they were just doing it to like see what I was doing and to be cheap, then that's another thing. Either way, I mean, if they showed up for it, they got work done. And I know I might sound like I'm doing an infomercial, but these are things I've been offering for the past 6 months, or I think for a few months for the full action day. And the feedback I have been getting from people have been great. And I usually don't even ask for testimonials. These are people that just tell me this because they were so they were so excited. They were so happy with the results that they felt the need to email me or to write it in the chat. So the thing is, there are other people that offer similar types of program, like I talked about, the people that labeled a procrastination workshop, or people who call it a study hall. So I am not the only person who offers these type of sessions. There are a lot, especially in the ADHD world. I know multiple coaches, organizers, ADHD professionals who offer them. I'm not the only one. And this is something you could do on your own. Mine's already set up. It's affordable. I know that the method I use works for most people. So that is an option is to sign up for one of my sessions. But this is something you could do on your own too. Over the years, I've known people who don't necessarily have ADHD who will throw a painting party when they want to paint their house or a room in their house. Or when they're moving, they'll throw a moving party. And yes, some of it is logistically, it makes more sense to have multiple people helping you paint or multiple people helping you move. But it's also that it adds some energy, some fun, and people actually enjoy it at each other's company. But it helps people get something done that if they were doing it all by themselves or, with only their spouse or partner, you wouldn't get as much done. The energy wouldn't be as positive. So that's something to think about. There's people that probably do Facebook groups for it. I don't know any specifically. But this is the type of thing, whether you're coming to mine, going to somebody else's, starting your own, that the combination of being with a group of people, having somebody lead the group, the structure of it, the methods used, like the Pomodoro Technique or the Body Double concept, it can really help you to conquer procrastination, conquer clutter, and sometimes even conquer that perfectionism, get past the perfectionism. So I think I've, shared my thoughts on this enough. I know I'm going to start sounding like a broken record or rambling. So I'm going to end it here. And like I said earlier, if you want to find out more about the action groups, action sessions, or any of my other events, you can look at my schedule at taramcgillicuddy.com. Thanks everyone for listening to this ADHD Support Talk radio podcast.